Well, here we are back for our third week of school term, but really the first week that we've had a significant number of students returning, with most children returning to school a day a week. You can see here I am in the library. We have of course had students in the library this week. Mrs. Southwood's been very pleased to have our wonderful books being borrowed by students and be able to be read and enjoyed. All our teachers across the school have been excited to have students back at school, and of course our kids in returning have been very pumped to see their friends, see their teacher, and just to be back in the school environment. We will of course be increasing to more than 1 day a week. We haven't been given advice from the Premier or the Education Minister around a time frame for that as yet, but I'm sure it will come in due course. But for now, as students are here for 1 day a week, we really want that 1 day to count. So we have a strong academic focus during the day, but we've also prioritising time for students to be able to engage with each other and enjoy that social interaction, whether that's through creative and performing arts or through sport and fitness or other activities. But we're making sure that the day of face-to-face learning is a really positive day for our students. We had our P&C meeting last night, digitally on Zoom, so thank you if you're able to join us for that. But at the meeting I spoke about how our digital classroom is continuing, and of course for the other days during the week students are accessing whether it's a Seesaw program or Google Classroom, and as a school we want to continue supporting families with that. So Leanne Barden is continuing in her role as the home learning contact. So please get in touch with Leanne if there's something that she can assist you with as far as managing the learning from home. Leanne is also calling families who have had a student attend school for their particular day. She's calling just a number of families at random, just checking in, because we want to have a good sense of how families are managing the home environment, the home learning environment as things continue to change. So if you have a family with a couple of children, what was it like for the other child learning at home while their brother or sister was at school? And what was the feedback from the child after returning for their day of learning? So we want to have our finger on the pulse about how families are going with the home learning environment and to be aware of what we can do to keep supporting in that regard. Something else I just need to flag, which I mentioned at P&C meeting last night in regards to the drop-off. So thank you everyone for keeping in step with our procedures about staying outside the school property and dropping kids at the school gate. That seems to be going well. But a couple of things if I can just mention. If you're driving up to the kiss and drop zone, I know a few more people have been doing that than previously. Can you make sure you're parking in one of the dedicated parking spots rather than in the bus zone? So a couple of people have parked right outside the school gate, but it's in the bus zone, so that's caused some complications. So make sure you're in the actual kiss and drop zone. The other thing is we've had a few people park on the far side of Floraville Road and then want to rush across the road. Now I know people's circumstances have changed and their drop-off procedures may well have changed, but if you are parked on the other side of Floraville Road, can you make sure that you take an extra couple of minutes, enjoy the walk with your child, hold their hand, walk them down to the pedestrian crossing, the traffic light there, and cross the road properly. We want to be safe, we want to model that to our students, and we don't want our kids seeing another parent or child rush across the road, a busy Floraville Road, and then think that's okay. So I know our circumstances have changed, but can we make sure we're doing the right thing in that regard and crossing at the lights? As far as pick-up in the afternoon, as we've mentioned previously, that is a time for parents to come onto the school site in that front grass area there, because we don't want everyone congregating outside the school gate. And if it's raining, we will come under the sheltered areas. But otherwise, that front grass area, if we can maintain social distancing, and that will be our pickup. That has been our pickup practice for this week. Something else just to mention from the P&C meeting last night is that the Flexi Schools online ordering for uniforms, school uniforms, is available again. So we've had a few students come back wearing some non-school uniform items, being a bit cooler, and that's understandable with the uniform shop being closed. But if in the coming weeks you're able to purchase some winter uniform items, if your child needs those, then that'd be great. The other thing I just want to mention, you would have seen on our Facebook feed that we are now taking enrolments for kindergarten for 2021, and we've had a number of families ring in to enrol their child for next year. So if you have a friend or a neighbour or someone who is seeking enrolment at our school for next year, now is a good time to get in touch and we can begin our planning. Of course, that planning will continue for next year. So lastly, our newsletter hasn't been going home. I've been doing these little video broadcasts instead, and we'll keep those going for the time being. Have a great week.